Okay, everybody, thank you very much and welcome to another Joint Ignite Equity 180 Markets Company webinar. And today we are joined by Adam Wooldridge, Managing Director of Cobre Limited. And Cobre is a company out there that they've had great news just announced yesterday, a huge earn-in from BHP. So for those of you that are interested in large-scale copper projects that are well-funded, you definitely need to listen to this. But before we get to that with you, Adam, I just want to back up for a second. We certainly know that markets have been weak, and especially today. And that's why we always come back to what I call the two Ps, which are you need the right people and you need the right project. And the people, Adam's joining us today, but also in Cobre, when you look at throughout the entire business led by Chairman Martin Holland, certainly they have the right people in place. And then when you look at the Kitlanya project in Botswana, it's large scale copper, a real game changer, and it is not easy to build copper mines. As we know, supply is limited, and that's why Cobre is so interesting. And with that introduction, Adam, welcome.
Thank you very much, Greg. Good to join you on the show.
Great. Hey, Adam, let's get right to it. You announced yesterday, we're filming today on Tuesday, BHP earn-in agreement here. Just tell us a little bit about it, and especially the background.
Yeah, so Greg, this is actually born out of the Explore program. So we were part of BHP's Accelerator Explore program last year. So we made it into the cohort of 6 different companies. And basically the idea we had for entering into the BHP Explore area program was to try and tackle some of a different style of target in the Kalahari Copper Belt, one where we saw there could be enormous value looking at these preserved fold hinges right on the base and margin, but they're very difficult to explore for as a junior. They really need big pockets, very aggressive, well-funded programs with deep holes, and we saw real value in possibly leading that with active seismics as well to actually identify where these hinge and trap sites could be preserved in the Kalahari Copper Belt. So that was the concept we pitched as part of the Explore program. Then we had a whole year basically working with BHP, developing that further, refining the models, and we actually got to collect quite a lot of active seismic data as part of the program as well, using the BHP Explore money as a grant. And that really sort of solidified our ideas and advanced the project and thinking a lot further. That essentially led us to working on a deal with BHP, which took quite a long time in the end, to be honest, but I think well worth the effort. It's really a fantastic both companies, and it gives us the kind of firepower to open up a target type that we wouldn't traditionally have been able to explore as a junior. I mean, we're literally leading with active 2D seismics and drilling. We're going to drill a series of +1 kilometer holes to test that site, to really advance those targets.
Yeah, and I want to get to those drilling because it's obviously upcoming very quickly here. But again, BHP, you've worked with them now for a year, so clearly they run the ruler over you, so to speak. And as you said, they start out with a wider group of companies, and then they narrow it down. And just talk to us also a little bit about what they are looking for, because in a company, multi-billion-dollar market cap company, they're frankly not looking to make just a couple $1 million, are they?
No, exactly. So this is really. The focus is tier 1, and tier 1's a term that's bandied around quite a lot. But when you're starting to look for companies at BHP size, you're looking at several million tons of contained copper in one or more deposits. So belt scale type opportunity, looking for sizable deposits, and that's really the goal from a BHP point of view. And what really attracted them to our ground was the fact that we made an active effort to pick base margin positions, typically where you see the bigger deposits.
Right.
Again, the fact that we a lot of that ground's virgin territory, it's unexplored. But obviously, what you've also seen in the Kalahari Copper Belt is it's turned from a really interesting exploration play, say 7-8 years ago, into a producing copper district. There are metrics to demonstrate you've got copper in the system, obviously. And then probably one of the big drivers, especially when you're looking at a major like BHP, is where you find these. So Botswana checks the boxes. It's a stable jurisdiction, right up at the top of the Fraser Index, and the proof in their mining track record is obviously pretty well demonstrated.
Right, and for people that don't know, the Fraser Index is an index. Sorry to interrupt you. Just to clarify, for the Fraser Index, it's an index that measures jurisdiction. It's globally well recognized, so that's certainly the case. Now, Adam, with the money, with BHP, as you said, you're going to be drilling and doing a lot of activity over the next 6 months. Can you just talk us through it, please?
Sure. So perhaps it's worth also just mentioning, Greg, that we've got multiple projects up the belt. This is really focusing on the two base and margin projects, and at the same time, we'll continue our own work on our in situ copper recovery project next door, and on our Okavango project, which is next door to MMG, and a long strike from MMG's Kumukau Zone 5 development. So the BHP joint venture, or an earn into joint venture agreement, will really cover the two Kitlania projects, which are both on the base margin. And the real goal for this is going to be testing the seismic data that we collected last year with a series of deep drill holes, and then really understanding the basin, making sure that it has the kind of ingredients that will allow for formation of a tier 1 deposit. So we actually have to prove now that the basin can hold tier 1 deposits. So we need to see the right footwall geology, we need to see the right flow pathways, and we need to see these trap sites and make sure that they actually are active and copper bearing. So deep holes, testing the basin, but at the same time, obviously looking in these really big trap sites we've identified already in the seismics to see if there could be deposits as well.
Right. And Adam, us as investors, we always like to compare things, and even though everyone says not to, we all do. What should we be looking for in these results that is a already existing world-class type of project?
So I think if you look at the Kalahari Copper Belt, the way to view the kind of target we're looking at, if you imagine Zone 5, the main deposit in the area, they all occur on the limbs of these anticlines. So they're steeply dipping. You imagine you've got a series of folds, and then you've basically cut the roof off.
Okay.
Now, all we're looking for is the same area with the same deposits, but keep the roof on. And in the roof zone, you're going to get the real enrichment and upgrading of mineralization.
Right.
So the trick with that is now you've got a target that's blind at surface. You're not seeing the geochemistry as clearly as you would as if you had a limb deposit where you'd cut the surface off and you had that exposed to the cover rocks. So you're basically looking for a blind fold hinge that you need to find, map, model, and drill into. And if you can, you've got all this juice and concentration of mineralization occurring in the hinge zone. That's basically the premise and the target, and that's really the driver for collecting seismic data, because you can see these beautifully folded geology underneath, and then you can see the big structures leading into them, and you can actually start directly targeting where you believe the copper will occur. So that's how we're going to lead our exploration program.
Yeah, and Adam, obviously it takes a lot of skill. Can you just talk again? I mentioned earlier about the team.
Sure. So we've got a really good team on site. Thomas Krebs is leading our technical team, and we've got Peter Clutty and a whole range of Botswanan geologists who've joined our team as well. So we're looking at really leading our team with Botswana-led geologists who are doing a lot of the hard yards on site. We've got lots of program development for our geos to progress them, to taking on more senior roles as well on site, which is great. And I think just from our side, myself included, we've all been working in the area for decades. So we've got loads of experience with the Kalahari Copper Belt.
Yeah, and I know you don't like to talk about yourself, Adam, but you actually, as you said there, you have a lot of experience in this area there. Please just give people like maybe a 30-second or 1 minute overview of your experience in Africa.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, my background's in geophysics and geology. I've worked in both. I've got nearly 30 years of experience in the industry, working throughout Africa and Europe. In both roles, I've been involved in airborne geophysics as well extensively. I've run a consulting company for the better part of 20 years now. Hugely involved in target gen and really looking at big scale project gen as well. And then in the last probably 10 years, been involved in starting up lots of actual projects and then looking for investment and advancing them into different stages of development. So this project's actually born out of that work, where
Right.
we were actually part of the team that originally sort of came up with the concept, pegged the ground, took it through the early stages of development or of exploration privately, and then that project was vended into Cobre, and I followed the project, I guess, if you like.
Right. And Adam, certainly, I guess a couple of things there, which is number one, you don't follow a project, obviously, unless you believe in it. And the second is coming back to that BHP deal, we noticed that they are actually paying you a management fee for your expertise. And again, another vote of confidence with people that are far, far, far more skilled and qualified than us here, mere investors, if you will, in the project. Adam, again, it's a seminal time, and I'm, very conscious of your time. I may just open it up in case anyone has any Q&A. Feel free to raise your hand right now. I know that I can already see it from the WhatsApp. One of the questions someone's asking me, Adam, is that does the BHP money free up capital at the headstock level for your other projects?
Absolutely. So that was one of the key ideas behind it. We're really looking at if you like, a three-pronged strategy for our exploration. The first one is to partner with BHP, look for these big deposits that we wouldn't really have had access to as a junior previously. It's just the big money, big exploration, seismic-led drill programs. So it's almost like adding a whole new arrow in the quiver, if you like, with the BHP deal. At the same time, this now means we can focus on our neighboring Ngami project, where we're looking at an in-situ copper development project. We're busy with a resource drill out on that project at the moment.
Right.
Releasing that MRE probably about mid-year. That program finishes in about a month. The drill program, then we still have to wait for the assays, etc. We're also carrying on engineering work to prove up the in-situ copper recovery process. And we've got leach box tests, for example, in the pipeline that will come out. So that project's going to carry on in parallel. And then the other project that's not part of the BHP deal is the one right next door to MMG. We've obviously seen a huge investment by MMG in the belt. They're about to start 70 to 80,000 meter drill program. They're really going to light up their portion of the belt, and we have all the long strike extent sort of unexplored contact from their project. So any sort of discovery there has a natural home in the neighbor. So obviously we'll keep that and progress that separately. And then we're still carrying on with our high purity quartz project in Australia. And we're busy with assays and beneficiation testing to sort of really bed down what we have there.
Got it. Adam, another question is coming in here. Could we see another deal on one of the other projects, perhaps with the producers neighboring, with the nearby producers?
Yeah, so I think that spoke to my last answer already.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The one that really stands out is the Okavango project. And, that when we first were exploring, we did a drill program there, that's about 6 years ago. At the time, we basically needed to find about 40 million tons at 2% to justify building a new mine on Okavango.
Okay.
So that was our sort of target metric. If you look at it now, it's next door to an expansion project at Zone 5. Any sort of decent copper hit or small deposit will have a natural home next door. So it's it's lowered the discovery threshold, if you like, for what we need to find there to make a decent windfall. So
Certainly.
yeah.
At this stage, another question that's coming into me here is, how do you compare yourself to Sandfire at this stage?
That's a difficult one.
I know. I'm asking the questions.
In terms of company size, I suppose in terms of ground,
I think
the
that's what
big
they're talking
difference.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, the big difference for us is that we really focused on base and margins, and the areas we're looking at have slightly thicker cover and are completely unexplored in many respects. So geologically, I'd like to think that our position in the basin is better.
Right.
And obviously they're a long way down the line with the exploration. They've got a model that works. They've got several deposits on the box. So yeah, their style of exploration is more brownfields, if you like.
Yes. And another question coming in is, and I believe I can answer this already, but I'll let you add, Adam, is Strata. What was their feedback?
Oh, well, all good. As you know, they're on our board of directors.
Yes.
Michael's on our board of directors. So yeah, we all really positive with where the BHP deal will lead us. I think it only has benefits for the company.
Yes, and to that person asking the question, I believe it's either on X or on LinkedIn. Strata did post some positive comments as well there.
Sure.
Adam, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Again, I know that this is extremely busy for you right now, and the next 48 hours will be a game changer. If I may add, are you going out to the project anytime soon?
In the next month.
Yeah.
So we're doing next door. Yeah. So we'll go out to our drill program, and then we've already started preparing to kick off the BHP projects.
Right.
So that in the short term. So we have, that's probably an important one as well, Greg. It's taken a while to get the deal across the line, but we were already geared up to start drilling towards the end of next month. So
that's great.
So we'll be on
that's great to see. Sorry, someone's asking, would BHP come in on the equity side?
It'd be nice, but it's not generally the way they run their deals. That's a question for BHP really as well. But yeah, we certainly did ask the question. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Adam, again, we're big supporters, big fans. Great work. Please, let Martin know as well there and the rest of the team. Well done, and we will certainly be in touch.
Fantastic. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye for now.